What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the All Things Basketball Podcast. This is a cowboy hat, and I'm going to be going to Tennessee this weekend. It's a short vacation, so I will be missing Game 3 at Minnesota. Won't be able to do a pod over the weekend, but I will return by the next game, I believe. I think the next game is going to be on Monday, so I'll be home by... I think I get home Monday, but regardless, let's get to this incredible showing by the Thunder and a blown opportunity for the Timberwolves to try to keep, a balance on the series. So we're going to go with a similar order as the last pod. So I'm going to mention some team stats that stood out to me. We're going to get to some defense questions that I have, and I'm also going to get to some shout outs and also some call outs, just like in that last pod. So let's get straight to it. I don't have much time today, so this may be a quick pod. All right, team stats. Timberwolves, points in the paint, improvement, right? From game 1, 44 points in the paint, but OKC with those 58 paint points, just dominating there. Points off of turnovers. We know that that's OKC's bread and butter. Game 2 was no different. 22 points off turnovers for the Thunder, just as always, turning that defense into offense. Timberwolves, 10 points off those turnovers. We marvel at the Timberwolves' ability to defend, particularly the point of attack, the rim, and, being able to switch and not concede mismatches, right? Like not have to worry about who's getting switched on to who, because this team has a lot of reliable defenders. And look, just not really being able to capitalize on that. Speaking of points off turnovers, just on the turnover vein, right? OKC, I looked at the box score, which I have up there on my other screen, 6 turnovers for the entire game. That is insane. You don't lose games when you turn the ball over 6 times. It's so hard to lose a game that way because you're keeping your possessions, you're not giving the other team extra possessions, and the other team, on the other hand, has 14 turnovers. So, really hard to win games like that. And honestly, the way this game started, and I'm going to get to the shout-outs, that's the Jaden McDaniels part of this, just the way that this game started, I'm like, all right, just like the last game started where it was Randall shooting hot and then Jaden McDaniels gets off to a hot start. I'm thinking, all right, maybe this is the Jaden McDaniels game, right? This will probably be the one. And we'll get to that. So 3-point percentage, and I've talked about this several times when it comes to the Oklahoma City Thunder, a team that I feel fully confident in, even if they're shooting as poorly as they did. 27.3% for OKC from 3, 28.2% for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I say it all the time, I love the Thunder in games where both teams are not shooting it well from 3, because that situation is where defense takes you over the top, because you can find offense through those stops, through those deflections that I mentioned so many times. And I'm sure you guys are probably sick of that. But Timberwolves defense, real quick. So they switch, they don't mind, they play man. But I was under the impression, hey, this team is not going to have to zone the way Denver did. And surely enough, in game 2, a lot of zone later on in the game, and they're just, at this point, it just feels like they're throwing darts and hoping that something just hits, right? They're just shooting things in the dark, or whatever the saying is, and hoping that something works. You can really notice the desperation from a defensive strategy standpoint when you start to see a team that has point of attack defenders, and all of a sudden they're just sitting in a zone, because it's just what are we going to do, right? Should we just play the percentage game, hope that those kickouts lead to missed shots, and then maybe the Timberwolves can get out and run? And that's kind of another thing that I wanted to look up. I thought I was going to write that down. I guess I didn't. But fast break points for the Minnesota Timberwolves, 9, right? I think that's, 9 fast break points for Minnesota to the Thunder's 16, right? And when Minnesota gets out and runs, when they get a rebound or they get a stop and they just get downhill, I see the ability to take advantage of the Thunder in that scramble mode. As great as the Thunder are in transition defense, and obviously just their defense in general, that is a great time to take advantage and get some additional fouls, potentially get to the free throw line. And I don't see the Timberwolves pushing it enough. Like, there's a lot of situations where I'm seeing a Jaden McDaniels or even Anthony Edwards, and it's like a 2-on-2 or a 3-on-3, a very drivable scenario for someone with the ball, and I just see them stop and kind of turn back and wait for the offense to set up again. And I'm thinking, man, that really benefits the Thunder, because in a situation where the Thunder have to guard you in transition and they're on their heels and you could really put some pressure on them, that's a really good time to try to get past a very good defense, right? Once you let the Thunder set up in defense or set their defense up in the half court, your chances of scoring drop dramatically. And I really want to see the Timberwolves make an adjustment, because obviously I'm a fan of the game itself. Like, I'm not, am I rooting for the Thunder on this playoff run? Yes, but I want to see competition. I want to see adjustments, and I want to see challenges, right? Like, I don't want to see a series where, the team's just getting blown out all the time. So I think the very simple adjustment for the Timberwolves is, one, obviously guys have to hit their shots. We'll get to the call out portion of this pod, but two, pick up the pace. Like, when you grab a rebound, get downhill and see what you can get in transition, right? Force some possessions, right? Instead of just waiting, taking a tough contested three, or you're flat-footed and you have a defender in your face and you take the three. It's like, these are bad possessions, and the Thunder should get credit for forcing bad possessions as well. But some of these are self-inflicted wounds for the Timberwolves, so that's something that I'm definitely looking out for. And again, I watch them zone, and I'm seeing the Thunder just dominate the zone, right? Because they got enough of that against Denver. All you really have to do is shift the defense side to side. You swing the ball along the perimeter. You get a little paint touch. Someone flashes to the middle in that free throw line area. And once you get a touch in there, they've got 5 guys that can score at that free throw line area. Realistically, they really do. Hartenstein with that high efficient push shot in the short roll. You got Chet Holmgren, who's got the footwork. He can get to a fadeaway. He can shoot from that range easily. He can also get to the rim with that length. Even like Alex Caruso later in this game, like he's taking some shots in the mid-range that low efficient, statistically speaking, those shots are a little harder to take. The ones that Caruso was kind of making, where guys are scrambling and then they kind of lose sight of Caruso, and Caruso finds himself on a shot in a game of Around the World where you're just outside of the paint, and he just takes those free ones, and he was making them. Shout out to him. I'll get to the shout out portion soon, but it looks very difficult for the Timberwolves defense right now. And if you're a Timberwolves fan, you should be very concerned, and then obviously when they do try to touch on that, plug on that short roll, when someone does catch it inside and they're in the middle of that zone, Lou Dort's wide open, Cason Wallace is right open, whoever else catches it in the corner or on a ball reversal after getting a paint touch, guys are wide open, so it's concerning for sure for the Timberwolves. Surprised to not see Jalen Williams get playing time. Is he injured or something? I haven't been paying close attention to that, but I am surprised he hasn't been playing much. Maybe they feel like it's not the right matchup for him, but that's something that I'm not going to question Mark Daigneault about. So let's get to the shout outs part of it. Jaden McDaniels, right? Another wasted game from a great performance for the Timberwolves. Jaden McDaniels was incredible in this game. And I'm like, this guy, when he puts together these performances, because he's often the guy teams cheat away from and rotate late on, this guy puts the ball down. He's got the fadeaway shot in the mid-range. He's got comfort with the ball in his hands, put it down and get to the rim. He's knocking down threes, 4 for 8 from 3. He made both of his free throws. He's got those 3 blocks. We know what he does defensively. He's going to foul a lot because, one, he's being asked to guard Shea and, a lot of tough guys that can put the ball down. And he's also very aggressive, very touchy-feely, a very handsy defender. 8 for 15 from the field. I mean, you got everything that you needed to get out of Jaden McDaniels, and you blow this game. So that was rough for Minnesota to see how good he was, and just dang, because you're not going to get many of those, right? As good as Jaden McDaniels is, we know he'll have one like this, then he'll have one where it's an okay game, maybe he'll have one where he doesn't really show up offensively, and then maybe he'll give you another one of these, right? So, these are valuable games that they're blowing for sure. Julius Randle, Well, actually, I'm doing the shout out portion. So who else can I shout out for the Minnesota Timberwolves? Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He absolutely showed up. 3 for 4 from 3. He had those 17 points. He's doing his best defensively. 5 for 8 from the field like I'm looking here. It felt like every shot he took went in. So he definitely showed up on both ends of the floor. Who else am I going to shout out? Let's get to I'm not even going to shout out Anthony Edwards because you guys, if you look at the 32 points and, the 46% from the field, which isn't like hyper efficient stuff, the 32 points, go rewatch the game. It's like he goes quiet for a while. Then he piles up some stats, because he hits a couple of shots in a burst. And then he goes back to missing a lot of shots. Wasn't a good game for him, in my opinion. 7 for 10 from the free throw line. Yeah, he got to the rim, but it wasn't a good game. Like, this was a bad 32-point game, if you ask me. We'll get to the call outs. I'm getting, ahead of myself. So Jalen Williams, huge shout out to him. 12 for 20 from the field. It was a 26, 10 rebound and 5 assist game with the defense stuff he's doing. Just amazing. This guy snaking pick and rolls. He sees Rudy Gobert. He stops in his tracks, pull up twos, fade away twos, getting to the rim. This guy's amazing, and he's playing incredibly well. Chet Holmgren didn't shoot it well from 3. Like I've been on him about the shooting part of it. I really want him to put work in the offseason when it comes to that. But he definitely showed up offensively, right? Like he did everything else. Hit some tough shots, got some rim pressure, good footwork, as always. We know that from Chet. He's hitting those little short roll catch and shoots, nice little soft touches around the rim. He was super important in this game. Defensively, rebounding, like not a lot of rebounds, but just the ones that he grabs, like those loose like rebounds that bounce off the rim, and he just gets like a hand in and taps it up to give another possession to the Thunder, or like to secure a rebound on the defensive end. Just a lot of stuff that people sleep on rebounding wise with Chet. Hartenstein didn't have a great, awesome game, but when the ball found him, he did good things. Lou Dort didn't have it offensively, hasn't really had it offensively in general in these playoffs, but we know what he's doing on his end. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, one of his best games of the playoffs. I mean, every time this guy threw it up, I'm thinking, yep, that's going in. 12 for 21 at 57% from the field, hits one of his 2 threes. One of those was a big one down the stretch. It was like a step back. I think it was at the half, like at the end of the first half, I think it might have been. I think it was over Jaden McDaniels. 13 for 15 from the free throw line. I got a lot of hate messages regarding that. And let's keep it 100, man. Like, you want to take away 5 of those free throws? Okay. I mean, what does he still have? 30? 33? I mean, what are we talking about now? This guy is hitting big shot after big shot consistently in the mid-range like the all-time greats. I mean, this guy is shooting like Jordan in the mid-range. And that's not like a stupid hot take for clickbait or whatever. It's the numbers don't lie. He's shooting incredibly well from the mid-range. Last guy I want to shout out on the Thunder, Alex Caruso. Just not an incredible Alex Caruso game. Defensively, obviously doing his thing, but hitting those important tough shots in the mid-range, like late in that game, like he finds himself in that short roll area, like at the free throw line, outside the paint, like I mentioned earlier. Those aren't easy shots. Especially when you're holding it, you're looking around and you realize no one's on you, and then you regather yourself to take a mid-range shot. Those aren't easy. So shout out to him for hitting those. And before I end this pod, let's get to the call-outs, right? Like, this is where I struggle with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Like, Julius Randle, bro. After game 1, I'm thinking, all right, looks comfortable. He lived on the perimeter. He sustained it. From a shooting perspective, this guy shot incredible in game 1, and then he follows it up with 2 for 11 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3, 6 points, minus 15, 4 turnovers, looking horrendous, right? Like I saw him and I'm thinking, this is the Julius Randle I thought. Not like this. This is ridiculous. He's better than this, and I don't think he'll have another game like this. But in terms of like inefficient shooting, and, forcing some things and turning the ball over, this is what people are used to from Julius Randle. This season's been incredible for him, and I never expect him to play like this badly. But man, if this is the Randle they're getting swept. They're not going to win this series if this is the Randall they're going to get. So yeah, Randall's got to be better than that, man. And I expect them to bounce back game 3. Rudy Gobert has become unplayable in this series. 2 for 5 from the field. Like, Jesus, dude. 1 for 2 from the free throw. You got 2 free throws, like one free throw trip. And then, you get, what do we got here? Like 5 points. And I know the scoring isn't what he does, but you forget he's out there. You just do in this series. That's a gut punch to the Timberwolves for sure, because you don't have that rim protection. They're screwed in the paint. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do about that. I really don't. Like, are they going to go all offense mode and try to kind of like, do that with the Thunder and just put Naz Reid at the 5 and kind of try to figure things out? I don't think that's sustainable, especially defensively. I don't think that's going to work for them. Mike Conley has not had a good series, man. 1 for 6. And the way he started the game, he's catching it. He's aggressive. He's taking shots. He got 1 to fall, and then, he just disappeared. Dante DiVincenzo hits a couple threes, and I'm like, okay, cool. He's in this game. Like, this is going to be a good game for him. Nope. 2 for 6 from 3. Obviously 1 away from 50%, but 3 for 8 from the field. He vanished as well, with those 4 turnovers too. And Naz Reid still hasn't shown up. I'm waiting for him to show up. So I'm definitely calling out Naz Reid. And then lastly, I'm calling out Anthony Edwards, dude. 1 for 9 from 3. Like I said, mid-range, he picks up the ball. If you can get him to pick up his dribble, it's over for this guy. Like, he cannot get buckets in the mid-range. And this is a series where you're going to have minimal shooting pockets, like shooting windows, like opportunities where the angles are just very tight because there's so much physicality, so many bodies, so much defense. Those are the shots you're going to be getting in this series unless you force the issue and get to the rim, which, by the way, the few times that he drives, he's getting there. He got 10 free throw attempts in this game. He could very easily just drive, force the issue, and until the Thunder adjust, unless they're just going to do what they can, right, and collapse and force Ant to either like force bad offense and get to the rim, or force Ant to kick it out, but that plays into the hands of the Thunder as well, literally, right, like into their potential deflection. So this is an interesting series, man. I've lost all confidence in the Timberwolves because I thought that, and look, OKC did what they're supposed to do. They won 2 games at home. So we could look at it from that lens. But when you're looking at it game to game, it doesn't really look like the Timberwolves stand a chance against these guys. Like, I was going into this thinking, you know what? Hard for me to think that the Oklahoma City Thunder can win 3 games in a row against a Timberwolves team that plays defense the way they do. They have the length, they have the positional versatility and stuff. They also have Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle balling out in the playoffs. Like, no way you win 3 games in a row against a team like this, right? But at this point, I don't know, man. Obviously they get to go back home. I think the Thunder are going to split road games here. I think they're going to win one over there and potentially close at home. So, hopefully the Timberwolves put together something, because right now, looking at this 3-point shooting from everyone, man. 0 for 5 Naz Reid, 1 for 4 Mike Conley, 1 for 9 Edwards, 0 for 3 Julius Randle. That's not going to get the job done. And shout out to them for taking less threes, getting to the rim a lot more. But I didn't like the Randle attempts, the touches, like where he was getting his offense from. The few times that he got looks in the paint, he scored with ease, which was like, a couple of times? He's got to get back to the basics, man. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I will catch you guys on the next one.